Welcome to all devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto first, chapter 10, departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka, shloka number 28 and 29. Nunam vratasnana adina ishvarah.
नूनं व्रत स्नान आहूत आदिन ईश्वरः
समर्चितः हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः
समर्चितः हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः
पिबन्ति यः सखी अधरामृतं मुहुः
पिबन्ति यः सखी अधरामृतं मुहुः
व्रजश्रियः सम्मुमुहुः यत् आशयाः
व्रजस्त्रियः सम्मुहुः यत आशयाः
या वीर्यशुल्केन वृता स्वयंवरे
या वीर्यशुल्केन हृता स्वयंवरे
प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखाणि शुष्मिनः
प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखान् हि शुष्मिनः
प्रद्युम्न साम्ब अम्ब सूत आदयः अपराः
प्रद्युम्न साम्ब आम्ब सूत आदयः अपराः
यः च आवृतः भौम वधे सहस्रशः
याः च आहृताः भौमवदे सहस्रशः
नूनं व्रत स्नान हूत आदिना ईश्वरः
नूनं व्रत स्नान आहूत आदिन ईश्वरः
नूनं व्रत स्नान हूत आदिना ईश्वरः
नूनं व्रत स्नान हूत आदिन ईश्वरः
समर्चितः हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः
समर्चित हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः
पिबन्ति यः सखी अधर अमृतं मुहुः
पिबन्ति यः सखी अधरामृतं मुहुः
व्रजश्रियः सम्मुमुहुः यत् आशयाः
व्रजस्त्रियः सम्मुमुहुः यत आशयाः
या वीर्यशुल्केन वृतः स्वयंवरे
या वीर्यशुल्केन हृतः स्वयंवरे
प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखाणि शुष्मिनः
प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखान् हि शुष्मिनः
प्रद्युम्न साम्ब अम्ब सूत आदय अपराः
प्रद्युम्न साम्ब अम्ब सूत आदयः अपराः
यः च आवृताः भौम वधे सहस्रशः
यः च आहृताः भौमवदे सहस्रशः
नूनं व्रत स्नान हूत आदिना ईश्वरः समर्चितः हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः पिबन्ति यः सख्य अधरामृतं मुहुः व्रजश्रियः सम्मुमुहुः यत् आशयाः या वीर्येण शुल्केन हृता स्वयंवरे प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखाणि शुष्मिनः प्रद्युम्न साम्ब अम्ब सुत आदय अपराः यः च आवृताः भौम वदे सहस्रशः
नूनं व्रत स्नान आहूत आदिन ईश्वरः समर्चित हि अस्य गृहीत पाणिभिः पिबन्ति यः सख्य अधरा अमृतं मुहुः व्रजस्त्रियः सम्मुमुहुः यत आशयाः या वीर्यशुल्केन वृतः स्वयंवरे प्रमथ्य चैत्य प्रमुखान् हि शुष्मिनः प्रद्युम्न साम्ब अम्ब सुत आदयः अपरा या च अवृता भौमवधे सहस्रशः.
हरे कृष्णा. आशीष प्रभु जी.
नूनं व्रत स्नानहूत आदीने ईश्वरः समर्चितो हि आस्य गृहीतो पाणिभिः पिबन्ति यः सखी अधारमतं मुहुर्व्रजस्त्रिया सममुहुर्यद् अस्यः या वीर्यशुल्केन हृत स्वयंवरे प्रमथाय चैद प्रमुखान् हि सुस्मिनः प्रद्युम्न संबाम्बा
Amba, Amba,
साम्बाम्बा सूतदयो परा
Adayo,
यत् सुत आदयो अपरा यस्य चरिता चर्हता
Yahacha Avrutaha,
यः च और्हतः भौम वधे सहस्रः. हरे कृष्ण.
Dasrasha. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh friends, just think of his wives whose hands he has accepted, how they must have undergone vows, bath, fire sacrifices, and perfect worship of the Lord of the universe to constantly relish now the nectar from his lips by kissing. The damsel of Vrajabhūmi would often faint just by expecting such favors. The children of these ladies are Pradyumna, Sāmba, Amba, etc. Ladies like Rukmiṇī, Satyabhāmā and Jāmbavatī were forcibly taken away by him from their Swayamvar ceremonies. After he defeated many powerful kings headed by Shishupal, and other ladies were also forcibly taken away by him after he killed Bhaumasura and thousands of his assistants. All of these ladies are glorious. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Religious rites prescribed in the scriptures are meant to purify the mundane qualities of the conditioned souls to enable them to be gradually promoted to the stage of rendering transcendental service unto the Supreme Lord. Attainment of the stage of pure spiritual life is the highest perfection, and this stage is called svarūpa, or the factual identity of the living being. Liberation means renovation of this stage of svarūpa. In that perfect stage of svarūpa, the living being is established in 5 phases of loving service, one of which is stage of mādhurya-rasa, or the humor of conjugal love. The Lord is always perfect in himself, and thus he has no hankering for himself. He, however, becomes a master, a friend, a son, or a husband to fulfill the intense love of the devotee concerned. Herein, 2 classes of devotees of the Lord are mentioned in the stage of conjugal love. One is Swakiya and the other is Parakiya. Both of them are in conjugal love with the personality of Godhead Krishna. The queens at Dwarka were Swakiya and duly married wives, but the damsels of Vraja were young friends of the Lord while he was unmarried. The Lord stayed at Vrindavan till the age of 16, and his friendly relations with the neighboring girls were in terms of Parakiya. These girls, as well as the queens, underwent severe penances by taking oaths, bathing, and offering sacrifices in the fire as prescribed in the scriptures. The rites, as they are not an end in themselves, nor are fruitive action. Culture of knowledge or perfection in mystic power ends in themselves. They are all means to attain to the highest stage of Swarup, to render constitutional transcendental service to the Lord. Each and every living being has his individual position in one of the above mentioned 5 different kinds of reciprocating means with the Lord, and in one's pure spiritual form of Swarup, a relation becomes manifest without mundane affinity. The kissing of the Lord, either by his wives or his young girlfriends who aspire to have Lord as their peons, is not of any mundane perverted quality. Had such things been, mundane liberated soul like Shukdev would not have taken the trouble to relish them, nor would Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been inclined to participate in those subjects after renouncing worldly fire. The stage is on after many lives of penances. Exceptionally, qualified daughters of powerful king were allowed to make a choice of their own bridegroom in open competition, and such ceremonies were called swayamvar or selection of the bridegroom, because the swayamvar was an open competition because rival and valiant princes, such princes were invited by father of the princess, and usually they were regular fights between invited princely order in a sporting spirit. But it so happened that sometimes the belligerent princes were killed in such marriage fighting, and victorious prince was offered the trophy prince for whom so many princes died. Rukmiṇī, the principal queen of the Lord, was the daughter of the king of Vidarbha, who wished that his qualified and beautiful daughter be given away to Lord Krishna, but her eldest brother wanted her to be given away to King Shishupal, who happened to be a cousin of Krishna. So there was open competition, and as usual, Lord Krishna emerged successful after harassing Shishupal and other princes by his unrivaled prowess. Rukmiṇī had 10 sons like Pradyumna. There were other queens also taken away by Lord Krishna in a similar way. Full description of this beautiful booty of Lord Krishna will be given in 10th canto. There were 16,100 beautiful girls who were daughters of many kings and were forcibly stolen by Bhaumasur, who kept them captive for his carnal desire. These girls prayed piteously to Lord Krishna for their deliverance, and merciful Lord, called by their fervent prayer, released them all by fighting and killing Bhaumasura. All these captive princes were then accepted by the Lord as his wives, although in the estimation of society they were all fallen girls. The all-powerful Lord Krishna accepted the humble prayers of these girls and married them with adoration of queens. So altogether, Lord Krishna had 16,108 queens at Dwarka, and in each of them he begot 10 children. All the children grew up, and each had as many children as the father. The aggregate of the family numbered in the millions. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guroho Sri Yata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We try to understand shloka number 28 and 29. Here they describe about the Krishna, how they accepted 16,108 ladies as their queen, and how uh, how the damsels of Vraja were young friends of their. Here they are describing about the um, 5 rasas, and one of them is mādhurya-rasa. Mādhurya-rasa is 2 types, Swakiya and Parkiya. All this detailed Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful, what I'll say, session on these important shlokas, where we are seeing how the ladies in Hastinapur are discussing about Krishna, his activities. So as we have been always saying, Krishna, the name himself, or Krishna, both are one and the same. And when we start listening about Krishna, automatically the desire for Krishna increases. And the listening for Krishna starts with the Naam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then it gradually evolves to know more about him, his form, his activities, his pastimes. And the ladies, we are seeing how they started about initially with Krishna, about his transcendental form, how he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then moved to discussing about his success stories, his leelas, and then about his attractive confidential pastimes. And now they're discussing about his pastimes after finishing the pastimes in Mathura to Dwarka. In fact, we saw yesterday that Dwarka, its presence itself, increased the glory of earth, increased the celebrity status of earth. And we've seen how all the inhabitants of Dwarka are so very favorable because they get the favor of Krishna. And not only all the what I will say residents of Dwarka, here we are talking, the ladies are talking more about the wives who stay with Krishna in Dwarka. They say that Krishna has accepted them. He has accepted their hand. And they are so very lucky. In fact, they have become lucky because they underwent so many vows, fire sacrifices, that is yajnas. They did perfect worship of the Lord of the universe. And hence, they became eligible to relish the association of Krishna and enjoy the nectar from his lips. And then they talk about, in the same breath, about the gopis, the damsels of Vrajabhūmi, would simply faint when Krishna would exhibit them such favors. And regarding the queens of Dwarika, they had children. Each one had 10 children. Pradyumna, Sāmba, Amba. And they now talk about specifically the major 3 queens of Krishna, Rukmiṇī, Satyabhāmā, Jāmbavatī. And they remember how Rukmiṇī was taken away from Swayamvara and how Krishna defeated the powerful kings to take hand of Rukmiṇī, and how he got the other 16,100 wives when he killed Bhaumasur and his assistants. So definitely all the ladies, they are very, very glorious. Because of their previous pious activities, religious rites, they could get Krishna. The religious rites that we talk about, they are prescribed in the scriptures so that someone can be purified of the mundane material qualities. of the Baddha Jiva, that is conditioned souls, and gradually be promoted to a stage from where they can render transcendental service to Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this stage which we can attain of pure spiritual life is the highest perfection. This is something called as svarūpa, the factual identity of a living being. So in the stage, the perfect stage of svarūpa, we are established in either of the 5 phases of loving service to Krishna, and one of which is mādhurya-rasa, which the ladies are talking about. So we have seen these 5 rasas when we studied Nectar of Instruction, if you all remember. They are Shanta-rasa, Dasya-rasa, Sakhya-rasa, Vatsalya-rasa, and the ultimate Madhurya-rasa. So the Shanta-rasa is a stage where we appreciate Lord in terms of His greatness, opulence, omnipotent nature, kindness. So it is a neutral stage. We are just introduced to Krishna, and almost most of them who are in this stage, they are in Shanta-rasa. And then slowly we develop awe and reverence, and we start adding service to the Lord. So Shanta-rasa promotes to the next Dasya-rasa, wherein we do not want to serve anybody except the perfect personality who is Krishna. So Dasya-rasa includes Shanta-rasa. The best example is Hanumanji. So in Sakhya-rasa, Dasya's servitude and appreciation are there, but the formality of Dasya is gone. So it's a sweet exchange of intimacy which begins in Sakhya-rasa. For example, the Gopas and the Krishna and Balram, when they used to play, wherein if someone loses, the other has to carry the person who has won. And then Krishna would lose and he would carry the Gopas on his head. So it's a sweet exchange of intimacy. That is Sakhya-rasa. So while though they are serving Krishna, here there is a one-to-one exchange. And Vatsalya-rasa, now more intimacy. So this is one more element added, because now you are more protective and nurturing relationship. Yashoda Maiya should be so much careful for Krishna. That's Vatsalya-rasa. And in Madhurya-rasa, everything is there. All these 4 are there, but the formality is broken, and there is appreciation for Krishna, full of care and nurturing. So when the gopis see Krishna walking, their heart is pained by the thought that maybe some stone or thorn may prick the heel of our Krishna. And they want to lay their bodies down for Krishna to walk on them. So the gopis give their body to Krishna, complete surrender, Atmaniveda. That is Madhurya-rasa. The Lord is always perfect in Himself. He has no hankering. He, however, becomes a master, a friend, a son, a husband, just to fulfill the intense love of the devotees. So in the purport of the shloka, Prabhupada ji is talking about 2 classes of devotees of the Lord who are in the stage of Madhurya-rasa, Swakiya and Parakiya. So the queens of Dwarika who were married wives, they are Swakiya. But the gopis, they are Parakiya because they were young friends of Krishna when he was unmarried. So Krishna was there in Vrindavan till the age of 16, and his friendly relations with the gopis were in terms of the Parakiya. But if you look at the gopis or the queens, both underwent severe penances, took so many vows, snan, yagyas, as prescribed in the scriptures. And then they could achieve this stage of getting love of Krishna. The rituals or the rites, they are not the end in themselves, nor are the fruitive action, or maybe culture of knowledge, or perfection in mystic powers. What they all do is they become means to attain the highest stage of svarūpa, from where we can render constitutional service to the Lord. And that is what is important to be done in Krishna consciousness. Each and every living being has an individual position in one of the 5 rasas in which we reciprocate with Lord. And in one's pure spiritual form of svarūpa, the relation becomes manifest. So, the kissing of the Lord by wives or the young gopis is not a mundane quality. Because if it were mundane, then liberated soul like Shukdev would not have taken trouble to relish them, nor would Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had participated in these subjects, because he was a strict sannyasi. So such stage where we are not affected by it, where we understand it is not mundane, is earned after many lives of penance. And these girls, they had done this. And in Prabhupada, we also understand about the Swayamvara system, where powerful kings allowed their qualified daughters the choice to have their own bridegroom. So such competition was open, and the rival and valiant princes were invited by the father, and there were regular fights in order of sporting spirit. And the victorious prince was offered the princess as a trophy. So Rukmiṇī, all know, is Vaidarbhi, that is the daughter of King Vidarbha. She was the principal queen of Krishna. So the king of Vidarbha wanted his qualified, beautiful daughter to be given away to Lord Krishna. But the eldest son wanted her to be given away to his friend Shishupal. And so we have a story which we'll be seeing in the 10th canto. But finally Lord Krishna emerged successful. And she had 10 sons like Pradyumna. And then we know the story of Bhaumasur, who had kept captive 16,100 beautiful girls who were daughters of many kings. So these girls prayed to Krishna for deliverance, and merciful Krishna released them all by fighting and killing Bhaumasur. Actually, these princes were then accepted by Lord as his wives, though in the eyes of the society they were fallen girls. Krishna accepted the humble prayers of these girls and married them with adoration of kings. Thus he had 16,100 queens, and each one of them gave 10 children. And all these children grew up, and each one had 10 children just like Krishna. And thus the dynasty became of millions of bodies. But what is important to understand is the mercy of Krishna and how we can purify ourselves and serve Krishna in one of the rasas. Hare Krishna.